How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today we are talking about the set Paldean Fates. We're going to be looking at the PSA 10s for this set because they're actually skyrocketing ever since January. The singles we've known for a while have been, increasing in price, but not until January did the PSA 10s for these cars start to go up. There's still a few plays to be had, like the Iono. It's a $32 card, but the PSA 10 is taking off. And as well as, surprisingly, the penny card with the Umbreon. It's only a $20 card, but the PSA 10 is also taking off, and it's taking off rather quickly. So we're going to look at the PSA 10s for the set. And then I did the math already for the gem rates. I went to PSA certification, verification. I basically went to PSA.com and I calculated the gem rates for you guys. So gem rates are a lot stronger in this set compared to Pokemon 151. Afterwards, we're going to look at some sealed product and see if there's any more plays to be made for this set. Keep in mind though, we may get a reprint for this set. We haven't really gotten a big reprint for this set at all. Only a few restocks after this set was released. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started, and welcome to the channel if you haven't been here before. We're going to start off with this Mew EX, the Bubble Mew. Man, a year ago, let's look at the volume first. Liquidity is king in Pokemon, especially in ultra modern cards. If the card is popular, if it's a popular species, especially when these newer sets come out, you might as well try to make the best play that you can. Whether you dollar cost average down, you buy a few copies. If the card drops and enters a price correction, maybe buy another copy, to just bring your overall average down. Try grading your cards as well, even if it gets a PSA 9. You can always just hold it, or you can sell it, especially in this bull market right now. Cards are trending in the upward direction for the most part, even post-release. It used to be in the past where cards would come out from a set, the prices would drop after more cards would enter the market when people would open more product. And we're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing a lot of cards just out of the gate, just jump up in price and continue to jump up with price corrections along the way. So it's really healthy when we do see price corrections, because it helps us know that the market is willing to pay a certain price, and then maybe the price drops, and then if people start buying that card up again, then we know that, hey, the market does value that card at a specific price, and if people value that card enough, they buy a lot of that card and the card continues to jump up. For example, like we have with this Bubble Mew, we had 20 to about 100 copies being sold every few months and every few days. So a year ago, this card was $87. Now this card in January managed to get to $265. And at that point, people were like, wow, that is an incredible jump. Let me start selling this card now. I can make $200 in profit nearly, even after eBay fees or TCG player fees. So we did see a price correction, as you could see right here. It hit $300 in December just recently, and then it was at a stable price point of around, if this thing would catch up with me, at around right here of $265. And then in January, when that bull market solidified and we just heard all these new sets coming out and how incredible they're going to be, and the fact that we haven't got a heavy reprint of Paldean Fates, all the sealed products started to go up. The chase cards started to go up along with the sealed product. And now, in January, this card was almost $300. It actually got to $300, and then it topped out at around $420. And since then, it's gone down from $420 down to $399. So it's entering a price correction right now. You can see right here, the volume is starting to decrease. So we might be able to see this card go down to $380. We'll have to see. I'm sure a lot of people are selling copies of this card. But look right here. There's a lot of potential in having this Bubble Mew card, or this Mew EX card. You could see it sold in auction, 31 bids at $955 for the PSA 10. And this person has multiple copies, like 910, 955, $9, or I don't know what this is right here. Let's just ignore that. 920, $984. Here's that same seller right here, STF Gaming, with the $900 auction final price. So, you know, these chase cards, I'm sure that person just had multiple copies. Again, this is an $85 card, like what was it, 6 months ago to a year ago. So good to know that, hey, chase cards, they're ultra liquid, you can grade them, and perhaps over time you might see that premium start to go for those chase cards. Here's the PSA 10 right here, more data. Pokedata.io uses all the eBay sales and compiles it together for an average. So the latest sales have been for $900 on eBay and $920. You could see right here in January, it had a price of $690 roughly, and then the card has managed to go from $690 to $1,000, and now it's still $1,000 card. So $1,008 for the PSA 10 Bubble Mew. It's funny too, because back in December, I did go to a card show and I could have got this card for $600. I didn't have the cash for it, guys. You know, I was just trying to buy some Roaring Moon EXs, some Blood Moon Ursa Luna, some cheaper cards, you know, that at the time were like $45, and this was barely an $85 card, $90 card. But I didn't think it was gonna jump up like this, you guys, from $600 to $1,000. You can see it's even entered a little bit of a price correction by about $50 to $100. That is good to see, because it just shows how, you know, the market's going to determine, the buyers are going to determine how expensive a card can be. And if people continue to buy for whatever reason, whether it's they want to sell the card, flip it, or they just want to collect it before cards get too expensive, that leads to the card getting more expensive. All right, next we have this Charizard EX. I have the Japanese version that finally is going up. I bought the Japanese card for about $160, managed to go all the way down, if you could believe it, to like $140, $120, and now it's about a $220 card. So I might try to sell it soon, but at the same time, with this English version going up, I'm not sure if I want to sell the Japanese version yet, because it is a PSA 10. All right, but let's go ahead and look at the data. 3 months ago in November, this was a $140 card. Looks like it was at a stable price. It rose from $140 to $160 for the month of December. And then once we entered into that bull market and we haven't got the reprint, it went from $170 in January up to $220, and then entered a price correction this past month, down from $220 to $206. And you could see the volume as well is about 2 to 6 cards being sold, whereas 3 months ago the volume was a lot higher when the card was reaching its peak, and at the time it was an all-time high. People just started buying this card up. And so, man, and you could see too, whenever when you see the dips right there, and you see the volume right here, when the card dips, when there's a price correction, a lot of buyers come in. A lot of people want to go ahead and take the opportunity, take the risk to buy the card. And here's the PSA 10, you guys, $560 in auction, $581 in auction, and $575 by the same seller too, STF Gaming. So shout out to STF Gaming, man. You're going hard, you're going ham, going hard. And so let's go ahead and look at the Pokedata.io data. Again, using the eBay sales, we could see that in January the PSA 10 was actually pretty flat at around $400 from November to January. Back in September of last year, it was a $275 PSA 10. Man, I wish I would have got it back then. But yeah, so in November of last year, it was $405. And then in January, it started picking up, $417, $422. And now in February, it's managed to get all the way up to $618. So I forgot to mention the gem rates, you guys. I was going to promise that. The Charizard EX, 52%. And the Mew right here, 46%. So the Mew EX right now has a lower gem rate so far, and the Charizard has a higher gem rate at what is it, 52%. And look at the population, 8,800 versus the Bubble Mew, 7,700. So what, about 1,100 more Charizards? That just goes to show that people know Charizard is really popular, and so they're banking on that. Here's the Gardevoir EX right here. Right here, we can see the price in December was $54, and it's been climbing ever since. In January, it really started to take off and managed to hit $94, and now it's got a small price correction, and it's gone from $94 down to $90. So only a $4 loss in the past few weeks. That's nothing bad at all. Look at the volume right here, guys. When it made this dip right here to $53 in December, you could see 103 copies were sold. And the volume is pretty good at about 20 to 40 copies being sold every few days. You know, people are seeing the opportunity in the cheaper chase cards that maybe aren't the ultimate chase card of the set. But when the other chase cards are a lot cheaper and undervalued, people start to buy those cards up. So always look for those undervalued chase cards. Because look, at one point, this was a $40 card, you guys. It was $53, managed to get all the way down to $38 in October. And you could see the volume. You could see when people started buying the card. It's all during those price corrections, because people know, like, hey, this card managed to reach this price. If it gets cheaper, I'm going to go ahead and buy in. So currently a $90 card. Let's go ahead and look at the PSA data right here on PokeData. The Gardevoir EX has a 56% gem rate, so it's higher than Charizard EX, and it's higher than the Mew EX. And if we look right here in January, it was $188 for the PSA 10 Gardevoir, and now it's gone from $188 right here in January to $295. So it's gained about $110 in about 1 month. So 4 to 5 weeks, and this card is up $100. Recent sales show 270 in an auction and 283 in an auction. So if you're looking to get any of these chase cards, the Gardevoir is about almost $300. Definitely look at those auctions and just add them to your favorites, and compare that to the buy it now prices. And if you're getting a $20 deal or $30, good deal, it might be worth considering, just because that'll help, pay for your eBay fee. So if it goes up in the next 3 to 6 months, which this bull market is showing, cards are going up. It does depend, though, if we get that reprint. We could see a 10 to 20% drop, and it just depends on how big that reprint is. But again, what happens during price corrections, you guys, we already mentioned it several times. People tend to buy the card in mass quantity, and the prices tend to surpass that price correction, especially now in a bull market. Back like a year, 2 years ago, even 3 years ago, cards and sealed product were really, really affordable, extremely undervalued, and also the demand and popularity wasn't as strong as it is right now. People weren't confident in Scarlet and Violet. They thought Scarlet and Violet was had great artwork, but it didn't have popular Pokemon. It didn't have the Pokemon that people knew and resonated with. And now that we're getting these new sets with Pokemon that people are excited for, trainer Pokemon, Team Rocket Pokemon or Rocket's Pokemon, and now that we have Paldean Fates come out and we don't have new product for it, or we haven't had a reprint for this set, people are starting to realize, okay, Pokemon 151 went up like crazy, and even though it was printed pretty decently, prices are still extremely expensive. Paldean Fates, prices are going incredibly high for these cards, and they're starting to make huge gains. People want to get in on those gains regardless if there's a reprint or not, and the reprint might not even have a really big effect if we even get a reprint. All right, next we have this Pikachu right here, the shiny rare. I'm surprised this card is up 92% in the past 3 months. It's managed to go from $30 in December to January $38, $40, and then now in February $49. So this card continues to climb, and Pikachu's a popular Pokemon, and honestly, these shiny rares look a lot better, I think, in my opinion, to the Shining Fates shiny rares. Let's look at the PSA 10, see if there's any potential in grading. Look at, guys, $48 on TCG Player. eBay is a good way to go to, $36. And what I mean by a good way to go is that eBay is really nice because people have pictures, right? And with the pictures, you can kind of source the cards a little easier. And that's why there's a discrepancy in price, because TCG Player, it'll say near mint, but normally there's not pictures. People don't post pictures. But on eBay, there's more sellers. And then also you can see the pictures. So if a card is a little bit damaged or has a corner that's nicked, sellers know that, hey, if you're the buyer, you can see the nicked corner. They're going to lower the price for you to incentivize you to buy the card. So that's why the eBay prices tend to be lower, from my experience on sourcing cards on eBay. It's normally because the card quality is, for whatever reason, it varies more. But look at this PSA 10 in, let's see, let's just go back to December. The PSA 10 was slowly rising. In December managed to get to $161, and then now it's up to $223, and it's entering a price correction of its own from $223 in January to now $198. Recent sales, however, show this card selling buy it now $225, buy it now $250, and auction $152. So someone got a good steal on that auction right there. So again, auctions might be your friends for these high chase cards. It's just hard to keep track of, because if you're at work or if you're busy with friends, family, etc., you might not be able to get that card. But keep your eyes peeled for this Pikachu. Honestly, I think it's better, if you're getting a PSA 10, to go after the Gardevoir. It just makes more sense, in my opinion, than to go for the half arts, meaning like they're not secret illustration rares, or just like shiny rares. Next, we have this Iono card. Like I said earlier in the intro, this card, man, 3 months ago, $22. I wanted to get copies of this card, but I was like, am I going to get 5 copies of this card, or am I going to get a booster box? And for me, I'm mainly a sealed collector slash investor. My goal is to sell these cards when they have made a substantial amount of gains, from going from like $140 a box to like $300 plus. That's when I'm ready to sell a box or two of what I have, and then keep the rest for later when the boxes get to $500, $700. That's kind of like my game. But now that I'm starting to enter the vending game and vend cards and source cards for gradings, I need to get the cards at good entry points, right? So this card went from $22. Look at the volume. You're having 20 to 40 copies of this card being sold, and it's climbing relatively fast. It's climbing all the way up to $33, and the volume is still really good, you guys. It's still the same average, 5 to 20 cards being sold. You could see right here at this peak right here, $31, we've had 33 sales for this card in one day. So this is an extremely affordable card, you guys. It's an Iono. We're going to get new Iono cards in the set Journey Together. So honestly, I think this is a decent pickup, just because it's really cheap. It's under $40. And so if we look at the PSA 10, the PSA 10 has potential. I remember I almost got some for $60 on Mercari, but I just didn't do it. January, this card was about a 77 PSA 10 card, and now it's about $100. And so if we look at the gem rate for the Iono, it is 53%. Oh, and going back to that Pikachu just real quick, guys, the gem rate on that Pikachu, 27%. So that's probably the main reason why 809 PSA 10s, there's already 1,500 PSA 9s. So adding the other gems of gem rates of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why I said all the numbers, but yeah, 27%. So it's hard to grade these shiny rares apparently, and specifically that Pikachu. That is crazy, you guys. But yeah, going back to this Iono, the gem rate is 53% for that gem mint 10. So good play right there. Here's this Charmander. I feel like it's doing the gritty. I always say that. But man, look at this volatile prices for this shiny rare. It's up 19% in the past 3 months. You could see, you know, it's been entering so many price corrections. In January, it hit $26, and now it's hitting $27. So, you know, again, going back to these shiny rares, the play for the shiny rares is definitely going to be those PSA 10s. It's a $71 PSA 10, $72, and the gem rate is a lot higher. Surprisingly, it's 58%. So that's probably why you're seeing there's even more PSA 10s than PSA 9s. So that's probably why you're seeing the Pikachu be a lot more expensive than this Charmander, is because of the gem rates. There's just less of those Pikachus in a Gem Mint 10 for whatever reason. Next, we have this Snorlax right here. In January, December, selling for $15, $18, and now is hitting $24. So it's up 84% in the past 3 months. It used to be a $13 card, and now it's a $24 card. So that's an $11 gain in 3 months. The PSA 10s are selling for about $84. They were selling actually higher in December and January at about $90, down to $84. So the gem rates are pretty high for the Snorlax, actually at 54%. So that might have something to do with it. If we look at the recent sales, we see 89, 80, 105 in an auction, and 80 in an auction. So shiny rares are a little bit more risky, you guys, than the secret illustration rares. And here we have the Penny card. So Penny has its own small cult following. It's nowhere near the Iono. However, the Umbreon right here, I think, has potential, especially like your risk. Like in January, this was a $14 card, and you can see how it spiked. This was like one of the cheapest cards I've ever seen, you guys. It was $7 in November, managed to get up to $12 in December and January, and now it's $20, which I feel like, oh my God, look at the volume. 40 to 160 copies of these cards are being sold, or were being sold, in the past 6 months. That's crazy. So an average of about 40 copies being sold every few days. It managed to sell at $20, 167 copies. So let's see how many people are buying. Most people are buying one the past week or two. But yeah, so it's a $20 card, you guys. I think it has potential for sure. If we look at the gem, here's the PSA 10. This is why I say it's still a play, because the gem rate right here, the penny, is 55%. So there's 950 PSA 10s. And the PSA 10 price has managed to get up to $138. If we look right here, we see one sold for $95, $188, $141, $165, $100, and these are all buy it now prices. So I think what you should do, or not what anyone should do, this is for entertainment, this is for research purposes, but what I could possibly do, and what anyone really could do, is source these cards at $20 a pop and try to hit that PSA 10 at $138. It's an Umbreon card. It's technically in the Umbreon class. So I think good things can happen with that penny card. Next, we have this Charmeleon card. What has one of the highest gem rates, actually. It's gone from $12 to $16. So 39%. It's made a 39% gain in the past 3 months. The volume is about 5 to 15 copies being sold. So $16 card, I actually really think it's cool. But again, those shiny rares, the gem rate on this one is 69%, so a lot higher than the Pikachu. And the PSA 10 is, where is it? Right here. $48 for the Charmeleon. You know, Charmeleon's a great, cool Pokemon. However, it's not Charmander. And honestly, it looks a lot cooler to me. Personally, I've been wanting to buy it. But it's just like a collection piece right now, guys. Nothing too crazy with the Charmeleon. It just has a really high gem rate too. Look at 745 PSA 10s versus 312. So it grades pretty easily for whatever reason. Now we're going to look at the sealed product, and the sealed product is interesting because, again, we might get a reprint. We don't know. The good thing about that is, even if we do get a reprint, these packs managed to reach $9. I believe that's the all-time high for these packs. $9 right here. Basically $9, $8.81 in January. And since January 23rd, it's dropped down to $7, went back up to $8.45, and back down to $8. So there could be several reasons for this. First off, look at the volume, guys. This is a popular set. Why? It has the Mew, it has the Charizard, it has the Gardevoir, it has 3 chase cards that are worth trying to get. So that's good news. Even if we do get a reprint, even if you buy 10 packs, let's say for $8, we get a reprint, packs are $6 or $7. Eventually, it does have the potential to hit $9 again, and that's only when the supply starts to run out again on the open market and there's just less of them. And so this could be that it's entering a price correction, either because it rose up too quickly in the past 6 months and 3 months. 3 months ago, it was $5.72, and now it's $8.11. So it's gone up $3. It managed to get up to $9. So at one point, it went up $3 overall to $4. So if you had 100 of these and you sold for a $4 profit, a $4 profit on each pack, you could have made $400 after fees, maybe $320, $330. So there is potential for Paldean Fates. I do think Pokemon 151 has a higher likelihood of going up in the short term. Paldean Fates, we're going to have to see if we get that reprint. However, I think, personally, I do want to get some packs. I do want to get involved in Paldean Fates because that Bubble Mew, $1,000 PSA 10, and that Charizard was crazy too. That Charizard was, the Bubble Mew's 1,000, the Charizard 618, and so Paldean Fates is no longer slept on. People have caught on, obviously. The PSA 10's going crazy. The other products that we have to mention right here is this has a booster bundle, 6 packs. If each pack is $8, that's what is that? $48, right? No, I'm totally wrong. Let's see. 6 times 5 is 30. So 6 packs at $8. That's what? 16, 32, and then another 16, 48. So overall, this pack value, $48 at the current price per pack. $48, you guys. And so there is a little bit of a premium. These are selling for $56. So $8 on top of that. I guess the fact that it's sealed. Let's see the current sales. $59 for the booster bundle. $55, $55, $59, $59. So the prices are staying pretty consistent. And look at the volume right here, guys. 20 to 100 of these booster bundles are being sold. There's still a good amount on the open market. You can buy from the same seller too. So yeah, I will admit they are a little bit of expensive, but again, you're getting the pack value because 151 $66, Surging Sparks $44, Paldean Fates $98, $42. The only better play out of all these, I would say, let's see, the cheapest is Paldean Evolved. You're mainly scoring for that Magikarp and those illustration rares, maybe the Iono. Paldean Fates, that's a booster or an ETB. Surging Sparks, though, you got the Latias and you got the Latios, you got the Pikachu, obviously, and the Hydreigon. You got a lot with Surging Sparks. However, we are going to get a restock of that, and who knows, in the future we could get reprints for this set in a year. And so Paldean Fates right now, it'll really be interesting if we do get a reprint. So yeah, you're only paying $8 extra, $48 packs in here, plus the $8, the fact that it's sealed. And some people do like selling sealed product or booster packs, because if you're going to be selling booster packs, you have to one, it's all about volume. So you get 100 of those packs and you're able to make more of a substantial profit by having volume. You know, if you only have 3 of those packs and you sell them for $3 a profit, you're waiting, who knows, maybe 4 or 5 months to get those $9 in profit. So volume is really big. Next we have this Charizard one right here. The tin is really epic. The promo, to me, not so much. You're getting 5 packs in here, so pack value is 5 times 8, so 40, nice and easy. So you're paying $20 on top to have it sealed. Let's see how many are, what are they selling at? $59, 59, 2 of them for 60. So yeah, about $60, market price $60. We still have some available at $60 and then some at $69. So it could be a nice play. You know, most tins that are popular sets can get to $100 plus. So you might play the waiting game on that. Here's the regular ETB. I'm really surprised that these managed to hit $98, but they reached 98 so fast because they were restocked several times. I remember during Black Friday, I believe, recently this year, yeah, I was seeing them on sale for like $50, $45 again. And that's that it was rising up. You could see right here in December, $64, in January, $84, and then February, $98. And look at the volume, you guys. People were really trying to get that Charizard or Bubble Mew. Or they're also just trying to have something in their collection or something as an investment, because this is a very liquid product right here at 40 to 100 of these ETBs being sold. And even when it goes through a price correction, people are buying it up. You could see on one day, or in a span of 6 days, 154 ETBs were sold. So last thing we're going to look at is these Paldean Fates ETBs. I'm excited that I'll get to trade someone a Journey Together PC ETBs. Here's the Paldean Fates PC ETB. Retail price on Pokemon Center was what? $59.99, I believe. So I was trying to sell these too for $150, and people kept lowballing me, and I was like, dude, there's just no way I'm accepting anything less than market price at $150. I don't want $120. I don't want $140. I want market price, you know? I digress though. In December, this quickly rose up from $107 at the end of December, $150. Was relatively stable right here, December to January at $150, and recently is going up again, making some substantial gains from $150 to $178. So I'm really glad that I got the case of this. I opened the case, unfortunately, but whatever. There's some available for $198 on market, $198, $199. So definitely check eBay to try to get those deals. And we'll close out with a comparison, you guys. Pokemon 151, 383. Surging Sparks, 157. Ooh, for the PC ETB, that might be something worth looking into, you guys. Definitely the promos have something to do with it. The Snorlax off the charts. The Magneton doing pretty well at around $200 in a PSA 10 PC stamp. And then let's see if they show us one more. Yeah, right here, the Paldean Evolved, 248 with those Pikachu with the starters. And then right here, we have Obsidian Flames, 269. And this got restocked upon restocked upon restocked. So there you have it, you guys, for Paldean Fates. The packs. Look out for the reprint if we do get a reprint. If not, I think Paldean Fates is an incredible set. And it's great that we entered this bull market. That Mew is hitting $1,000. And that Charizard is hitting $600. Beautiful cards in this set. It doesn't have a whole lot overall. Like, it's not like a Pokemon 151 that has so many illustration rares, but there are a lot of baby shinies, and they tend to have a little bit of a popularity, but it's those main chase cards that people are looking at. And remember, that Penny looking pretty nice at that price right now, current prices, and that Iono. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.